Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to the regular meeting of Osoyoos Town Council, Monday, May 5th, 2 o'clock p.m. in Council Chambers. First item up would be the adoption of minutes from previous meetings. Thank you. Regular open minutes from April 22nd, 2014. Any discussion on those? They will be adopted by consensus. Under C, business arising, we will deal with the Desert Center Garden that came forward from the Committee of the Whole meeting this morning, and I believe that was a resolution. Ms. Van Vienen, please.
Thank you. That actually came from the closed meeting from this morning.
Okay, sorry.
And the resolution that's being brought forward is motion number 4814, moved by Councillor Rhodes and seconded by Councillor McCordoff, and resolved that Council approves the Desert Centre landscaping project for improvements around the wind chimes.
Okay. That motion by Councillor Rhodes and seconded by Councillor Plant. Any discussion on that motion? Hearing none. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. They'll be happy to, we're going to get a little garden, I guess it'd be a xeriscape. Looks like a xeriscape project by the types of plants and that we're going in. And this will be located around the wind chimes art piece that are located in the front of City Hall there. Next item up would be the agenda. Is there any further late items?
There is one addition for cactus jalopes.
Okay, that's correct. And that's going to appear, I think I saw it here actually. Oh, I wouldn't see it on the print. We can deal with that under business 10. Any other changes to the agenda? Hearing none, that will be adopted by consensus. Next items up would be delegations. We have Sergeant Schur here from the RCMP. He was supposed to have his boss, Inspector Kevin Hewco, here, who got called to Ottawa, I believe. So we'll go with our local homegrown Sergeant Schur, please.
Thank you. And again, on behalf of Mr. Hewco, he sends his apologies for not being able to make it today, especially when this is our second try at it. But you know, he's with all the other officers in Ottawa. So what I'm just going to go over is our every year we go through a planning process where we go over our policing priorities for the year. You've all heard me talk about them before. So basically, the policing priorities for this year, they're very similar to previous years, to last year, and actually they kind of fall back to even a couple years ago. Some of the priorities we had then we're bringing back. The way these work, just a quick reminder, is they sort of all tie into one another. So in Ottawa, the Commissioner of the RCMP looks at our national priorities, and then in E Division here in BC, our divisional commander looks at our divisional priorities, and they tie into the national priorities, and it just keeps going down from division. It goes to Kelowna, our district, and then it goes to Penticton, our region, and then it comes to us. So basically that's to make sure we're all moving in the same direction, that we're not just fragmented, going different places with no rhyme or reason, and that we are addressing the policing priorities that are not only the bigger picture but also locally. And as you'll see, all our local issues tie into the bigger issues as well. Not everything gets addressed in certain areas. You know, like we have the border as an issue, for instance. Obviously that's not an issue in Prince George or something. So we do have some local things that others don't. So for 2014-15, and again, a lot of them are the same thing we've done before. They're just maybe worded a little differently this time. So the priorities are prolific offender program and crime reduction. The second one is police community relations. Third is substance abuse. Fourth is traffic. And then we have a fifth one. We're the only one in our region that has a fifth one, which is the international border. So with those different priorities, so for instance, the prolific offender priority, the things that we do locally here in Osoyoos under that heading are the municipal overtime that we get from the town and the resulting beach, park, and boat patrols that go with that. Of course, we have the partnership with Bylaw that we've developed here, which is excellent, and the expulsion letters that we have here locally, which have also proved to be very effective. We also do enhanced enforcement nights when we can. We did two a couple of weeks ago, which were good. We were having that rash of thefts and things. We actually had members out all night for 2 nights in a row. One particular night, they were basically in plain clothes in unmarked vehicles, kind of skulking around all night and all morning, keeping an eye out. And then the following night, we had extra members, and they were all in uniform out all night. And we made several arrests over those 2 nights. I don't know that they were related to the thefts, but we definitely had bad guys in town that we did arrest on certain things. So they were effective, and we do those for impaired driving and all sorts of things. For the police community relations, our big thing is visibility, increasing visibility, getting a policeman out of the car, out of our office, getting them onto the beaches and the parks. So of course the overtime that we have from you again in the summer, we dedicate people to do that. So we dedicate members to be out walking around the beaches. And of course now we have our UTV, which is excellent. And the guys are very motivated to take part in that, using that equipment. So we're in the process of getting a training course for that. And it's just a great thing. I mean, it's just a really neat machine, and I don't think we're gonna have any problem getting the guys wanting to drive down to the beach and hop out of it and show everybody. And on the other side of that, it's a very effective tool. Like on July 1st, when there's gridlock, after the fireworks and nobody can move, that thing can still get around, and we could still get 4 policemen where we need to get them right away. Let's see, what else do we have here? And again, with the police community relations, the partnership we have with Bylaw in the summer is also a great part of that, which again, for the UTV, that's another reason we got that particular type of machine, because they can be in the seat right next to us, right? For substance abuse, we still have the DARE program here, and we continue to do that. Constable Beta is our DARE instructor, and she's very committed to that and is doing a great job. We also, under our prolific offender management program, we basically target drug trafficking, houses or drug dealers, that kind of thing. For our traffic initiative, what we do is we'll do like counterattack road checks quite often, especially in the summer and around the holiday seasons like Christmas and whatnot. We also do those enhanced enforcement nights. Quite often that will include a traffic portion to it, and we'll bring our highway patrol unit into town for that. So it might be the middle of the week, or it might be a Friday night, and there might be 10 police cars in town. That's not all us, because I don't have 10 policemen. But they'll be in town with us, all our traffic members, and we'll just kind of blitz everybody. Now, not everybody's doing traffic. The highway patrol guys will be, but our guys might be doing curfew checks and checking on those drug houses and things like that. With traffic, actually just last week, 2 of our members were recognized for making it onto Alexa's team, which is you have to get a certain number of impaired driving investigations to do that. As far as I know, we're the only small unit to have 2 members make that. So that's a very big accomplishment, and they had to work really hard at that. So it was good to see them get recognized for that. That was Constable McNeil and Constable Chaput, and they worked very hard at that. So it's kudos to them. Under traffic, and this is kind of unique to us, is we have our boat, the police boat. So traffic for us also includes the lake, and we hope to increase the number of patrols we make this year. substantially if we can, based on resources. And I'll get into that later, but we're looking pretty good for resources this year. So ideally, we'll get all the funding we need. Some of that might be part of the municipal overtime money, patrolling, the swimming areas and whatnot, and with bylaw as well. I know we kind of got into that last year a little bit, where we did some of that joint patrols for some of the bylaw offenses in the water. So I'm anticipating that will increase this year. So yeah, the boat is a big part of our traffic initiative. And last year, I can't remember offhand how many patrols we had, but there was part of those patrols. There was 3 rescues, which was pretty good for us to do that. And we had a lighting system installed on the boat over last winter, and without that lighting system, or the previous winter, I should say, we wouldn't have been able to do 2 of those rescues. So that was really fortunate we did that. For the border initiative, we have a very good relationship with U.S. Border Patrol and the U.S. agencies. We do some joint operations together along the border, where we're doing enforcement, together at the same time. And we plan on doing that again this year. Specifically, there will be a marine enforcement initiative. There was 2 last year, actually. We could only participate in 1 just because of resources, but we hope to participate this year in that as well. We have meetings all the time with them, intelligence meetings, where we talk about sort of more higher end smuggling stuff across the border in the area. So we're tied into that group of investigators, and again, we have a very good relationship with them, which is excellent. So those are the initiatives, and again, they kind of tie into what we've always had, basically. But we do have some unique things with the expulsion letters and the municipal overtime. Just for an update, our July 1st ops plan, which includes a funding request, has gone in several weeks ago, so that's already been submitted. I haven't heard back yet on approval for that. Over the next couple of weeks is when they do all their approvals for the summer. I'll be submitting another sort of justification on our seasonal policing money from the RCMP, from our Southeast District, so that'll be going in shortly. And then we'll hear back on what we're getting for that. We have we have 1 vacancy right now, and that's being filled by Constable Bruce Stengel, and he's going to be here hopefully on June 9th to start. So that's excellent. We've been waiting for him for some time.
So that's a full complement for the summer?
That will be 100%. We'll have everybody.
That's a first, isn't it, in quite a while?
Well, we started out that way last year, but we didn't finish. Okay. So we lost 2 by August 1st. So,
right.
So yeah, it's looking very good for this year. And the UTV training, we're hoping to have that all arranged by the end of May, actually. So then we can actively use that, and you'll see it out quite a bit. Okay. And that's pretty much it as far as where we want to head over the next year with our priorities. We can't do everything, and depending on what happens and what other major things may come up, some things change. Some get a higher priority at the time or a lower priority. But we've been pretty successful with all of these in the past, and we're going to strive to achieve all of them.
Now, last year, you mentioned that you had applied for July 1st for your ops plan funding.
Yes.
And we got turned down. I say we being you got turned down, but it was also we're with you.
Yes.
So
we appreciate that.
So if that got turned down again, is that worthwhile doing a letter or asking why or anything?
Well, I mean,
who knows?
Who knows? I would leave that up to you.
Okay.
But
okay.
Certainly, I can assure you, and we had a meeting talking about that with Superintendent Hewco. So, and he's on board. He understands the pressures we have here, and it's not his call. Everybody has a boss, and he has a boss, and his boss is our Southeast District officer, who retired not that long ago. So we have somebody acting in that position right now. you're going to get a chance to talk to him, actually, in a few weeks. So
That's
maybe you can ask him yourself.
okay. I'm not bashful.
That might be a good opportunity to add clarity.
Okay, thank you.
But we should know the July 1st one is just for July 1st.
Right.
And that's for around $7,000-8,000. And it would increase what we had last year a fair bit. You know, probably 25-30% more police coverage than last year, which I think is more than needed, especially if we have the music festival kind of going on as well, right? And just, you know what, last year we you know, it was good, but it wasn't what I wanted. I wanted more. Okay. And I think we're better to overplan and have more and not need it than the alternative. Because there's no help, right? I mean, right. July 1st weekend, every police detachment is busy. There's no extra policemen around waiting for a phone call to come to work, right? So if we don't have people planned, there's nobody else. Now that being said, our seasonal policing money, so that's the money we didn't get last year.
Right. Okay.
We did get seasonal policing money, $7,000 last year, and we used every penny. Okay. And that one, I'm hoping we get at least that same amount. And that money we use over the rest of the July 1st long weekend, the August long weekend, and every other day in between. Probably 90% of it is eaten up on those 2 long weekends. So, and we supplement, you know, with the municipal overtime as well. But pretty much all of that money is burnt up just with the extra enforcement we need for those 2 long weekends.
So with Desert Live turning this year turning that weekend into approximately 5 days, that committee is going to sit down with you. Have they already? Because I know that your policing costs would be expensive, but in my mind I'm thinking, well, we need our bylaw officers, and they have people in Penticton also that are part of the Oliver contract, that maybe we should have this Desert Live Music Committee working on security and in the big picture security for that.
Yeah, I know. I don't know that much about the Desert Live. Jason Bate has been working very closely with them, and he has brought up the whole security issue. And there's a couple different things there. One, if it's not a normal policing duty, then really the onus is on the organizers to ensure they have proper security. Okay. And if they need more policemen, then really they need to pay for it, right? Right. And we need to know ahead of time to plan for that, because again, it's not necessarily money. It might be there might not be a policeman around. Right. So we have to pre-plan that. And the other thing is the special occasion license, the approval from the liquor board, and we're just talking about that. There has to be a security plan because it's a large event, and that has to get approval. They need to work with us on that, and just like at the racetrack, the horse racetrack, right? They work with us on that, and then we work with the liquor board and the liquor inspector, and it gets approved or not, or adjusted. And that's just for safety, right? Okay. I think what they're going to be looking like, the laws have changed, the Liquor Act has changed, but my sort of feeling is that they're looking more to have a small controlled area for drinking that would be licensed. You know, that's kind of the impression I'm getting. So it may be legal, you know, and I'm not up on the changes, but it may be legal to have the whole site, you know, open for liquor. I don't think that's going to happen. Okay. And I don't know how we would deal with that, to be honest. Okay. We would not have the resources to deal with that appropriately from the police side. Mm-hmm. If there's thousands of people in there and it's open drinking, you know, we can deal with 1 or 2 people. Right. And then there's no policemen because they're in the cell block. Yeah. So it would be very problematic. Whereas if it's a small area, just like July 1st, right? Okay. There's door control. They count the number of people that are allowed in there. There's certain controls in the amount of alcohol they can buy at one time. If somebody's having too much, they're kicked out, right? And it's monitored, and it's controllable. And that's not us doing that. That's just the door control, right? The Elks, and they do a very good job at it. If there's a problem, then we call, and we're dealing with one at a time type thing. So I would prefer that, to be honest. And you know, I'm not sure what the liquor branch their position is on that. I guess we'll see. I think that's probably, they may be leaning that way as well, so.
Well, I'm sort of, what I've been picking up on, it looks like they're leaning the other way. Sort of more into that wide open, and
Yeah.
I think, I'm with you, I think that could pose problems, but to be determined, I guess.
I guess, yeah, it's kind of not in stone yet, so
No.
we'll see. You know, I think no matter which way, as long as we look at it sooner than later,
That's right.
then we can start planning as best we can, and we do the best we can with what
You
we
bet.
have.
You bet. Council, any questions from council? No. Okay, well, thanks for your report, and congratulations. You had some quick results for some of our theft and B&E problems and that. I thought that was very good for you, for your team to come forward with some pretty strong solutions there in catching those people. So we like that, and it's really good to be working with the local detachment at the level we do, with the dialogue and going back and forth and understanding the concerns of each other. So
Thank you very much.
keep that working as strong as we can.
Yeah, I'll pass that on to everybody.
Great. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin.
There's no water matters. This is not a water matter meeting. Correspondence. A letter from MLA Linda Larson. This has to do with the Correction Center. Were we just receiving this for information, or there was actually an appointment there, but it came out earlier to me, and it looked like it was, I asked that you consider participating as a member of the committee, and this was set for the 15th of April, so I had replied in time to make the 15th of April meeting, which is now the 26th of May or something like that, before this group could get together. So I will be the participating member on the Okanagan Correctional Center project. So I will take that motion to receive by consensus. Rhodes, McCordoff, all in favor. We have received that. Into the bylaws, Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw, number 2014. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So before council is a Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01. In 2011, Regional District Okanagan-Similkameen adopted the Osoyoos Museum Establishment Bylaw 2553 for Electoral Area A in the town of Osoyoos, which received elector assent on the 5th of June 2011. The referendum in 2011 stated that the annual cost would be allocated as a flat charge to all taxable properties in Electoral Area A and the town of Osoyoos. This bylaw was established to enable the purchase of the future museum property currently occupied by Osoyoos Home Builders. In order for the town of Osoyoos to collect the portion owing from the Regional District requisition for the service on a property taxes, a parcel tax bylaw was created in 2013. This amendment bylaw is to adjust the rate to the requisition from the RDOS for 2014. Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01 2014 received first 3 readings at the April 22nd meeting and is now before council for adoption. From the community perspective, the electors of Electoral Area A and the town of Osoyoos approved the borrowing of funds for the future location of the museum budget. This allows us for the collection of the museum requisition from the RDOS. Significant dates. Bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th of 2014. Sustainability. This bylaw allows for the collection of funds required to pay for the town's portion of the debt of the museum property. So before council is the adoption of Bylaw 1300.01.
Council, please. Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I will move that we adopt Museum Parcel Tax Amendment Bylaw 1300.01 for 2014.
Thank you. And Councillor Plant, that was seconding. Any discussion on that? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Moving on to the Osoyoos tax rates bylaw, 1305, 2014. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So to update the tax rates bylaw for 2014 with the due date of being July 2nd, the 2014 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan that was adopted March 3rd. The Osoyoos tax rates bylaw 1305 received first 3 readings at the April 22nd regular open meeting of council and now is before council for adoption. The budget for municipal tax revenue is $2,414,460, which includes a 1.75% increase. The business multiple remains at 1.6 times the residential mill rate. The town of Osoyoos is responsible for collecting and remitting taxes for other taxing authorities, including the following: school, hospital, RCMP, Regional District of Okanagan-Similkameen, Library, BC Assessment Authority, and Municipal Finance Authority. The average assessed single-family residence will pay $603.38. This is on an average single-family residence assessed value of $333,914. An average assessed business is $669.10 with an average assessed value of $231,428. The property tax rates bylaw must be adopted by May 15th as per section 197.1 of the Community Charter. For the community, continued operation and enhancement of the municipality. From budget perspective, Osoyoos tax rates bylaw is in line with the 5-year financial plan bylaw. Significant dates, tax rates bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th. Sustainability, working to ensure maintaining levels of service for the community and financial sustainability for the town. The options to adopt 2014 Osoyoos tax rates bylaw 1305, and option 2 to delay the adoption of the bylaw. So recommendation is option 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'd like to move to adopt the 2014 Osoyoos tax rate bylaw 1305, 2014.
Thank you. And seconder, Councillor McCordoff. Speaking to that, Councillor Rhodes, any comments on that? Okay, Council, any any comments from Council? Hearing none, all. Oh, you work? Great. Oh, the mic wasn't on.
I apologize. I think it's on now. Okay. Well, I was hoping you were going to comment. I'd like to draw attention to that the business assessment amount of 1.6%, and you know, when you compare that to other communities in the province, it's probably one of the lowest that I was able to find in the short period of time I spent looking for it yesterday. Yeah, it's a great multiplier. It does help out small business, particularly in our community, and for us to be able to keep that for so long, you know, that speaks to sustainability in our community an awful lot. And so I'm pretty proud to have that, and I just wanted to draw attention to it by just commenting on it.
Great. Thanks, because I was hoping you were going to do it. and it's of interest that this is 1.6 and the provincial recommended is 2.45. So, and many communities are in that 4 and 5 range. So when people are asking, you know, what are you doing anything about economic development? In a small way, that's one piece of the puzzle that we are trying to promote business with is probably one of the lowest commercial tax structures in the province. So we're quite proud of that. Okay, and that we had that seconder from Councillor McCordoff. Any further discussion on this? All in favor, opposed, carried. Thank you. Under Bylaws 3, we get these all done. Director Zackel on East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax and East Lakeshore Water Parcel Tax Bylaws.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So East Lakeshore Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw 1182 and East Lakeshore Water Parcel Tax Bylaw 1183 were established for a specified area on Lakeshore Drive in 2002. These bylaws were created to establish a method of collection of parcel taxes for the water and sewer infrastructure installed in 2013. Collection of the parcel taxes for the specified area began in 2004. Bylaws 1182.06 East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw and 1183.06 East Lakeshore Drive Water System Parcel Tax Bylaw received first 3 readings at the April 22nd meeting and are now before Council for adoption. The reason for these bylaw amendments are due to the debt portion being refinanced with Municipal Finance Authority under Debt Issue 80. The bylaw amendments reflect the refinanced amounts required for the payment of the debt. The changes to the parcel tax rates, we're seeing that the parcel tax rates or parcel taxes collected in 2014 for water is down to $16,499.60, where it was to $24,789.81. And the East Lakeshore Drive sewer down to $29,750 per 0.43 from $37,738.81. From a community perspective, ensures the amount due for the debt portion of the Southeast Sector water and sewer project are collected from the benefiting property owners. From the budget perspective, no changes to the financial plan are required. Significant dates, bylaw needs to be adopted no later than May 15th. And the options before council to adopt East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw 1282.06 and East Lakeshore Drive Water Parcel Tax Bylaw 1183.06, and recommending that option 1.
Okay, thank you. Councillor McCortoff, please.
I would move option 1 to adopt the East Lakeshore Drive Sewer Parcel Tax Bylaw and the Water Parcel Tax Bylaw.
Yep, seconded. Councillor Ryan. Any discussion on that? Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, well, as Mr. Zacco pointed out, it's nice to see that those have gone down, and I think even the parcel tax for the museum acquisition is lower than it was before. So some nice results from the lower interest rates that are on those loans.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Moving into business 1, the 2013 audit report. Mr. Doherty, or I guess I'm going to Mr. Zackel first.
Yes, I'll present the audit report, and Mr. Doherty from White Kennedy will provide the audit opinion for the financial statements for the town of Osoyoos and Sunbull Arena.
Okay, great.
The 2013 audit report is before council. This was for your review and approval. White Kennedy has provided council with their audit report dated March 19th, 2014. This report is for council to review and to provide White Kennedy with the acknowledgement that they have read and understand the contents of this report. Implications community is financial accountability for the community, organizationally financial accountability to council and staff, significant dates, audit report needs to be acknowledged by council before approving the financial statements. And the option for council is for council to approve signing the audit report from White Kennedy dated May 19th, 2014, acknowledging that they have read and reviewed the contents of the report.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor McCordoff.
Yes, I will certainly move option 1 for council to approve signing the audit report from White Kennedy.
And that seconder, Councillor Plant. Any discussion from council on that? All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Business 2, the audited financial statements for the town of Osoyoos and Sunbull Arena. Mr. Zackel, please.
Thank you. At this point in time, I'll allow Mike to come up to speak to council with respect to the audit opinion.
Mr. Doherty, welcome back to the town of Osoyoos. Mike was a resident here way back.
20 years.
20 years.
Well, not 20 years ago. 20 years I was a resident here.
Oh, 20 years a resident here.
Gone for 12 years.
12, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay, well, welcome.
The audit reports for the Sunbull Arena and the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos are identical, so if it's all right with you, I'll just read the one.
Certainly.
And, okay. All right. To the Mayor and Council of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos, we have audited the consolidated statement of financial position of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos as at December 31st, 2013, and the consolidated statements of operations, the consolidated statement of change in net financial assets, the consolidated statement of cash flow for the year then ended, and a summary of significant accounting policies and other explanatory information. Management is responsible for the preparation and fair presentation of these financial statements in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting principles and for such internal control as management determines is necessary to enable the preparation of financial statements that are free from material misstatement, whether due to fraud or error. Our responsibility is to express an opinion on these financial statements based on our audit. We conducted our audit in accordance with Canadian generally accepted auditing standards. These standards require that we comply with ethical requirements and plan and perform the audit to obtain reasonable assurance about whether the financial statements are free from material misstatement. An audit involves performing procedures to obtain audit evidence about the amounts and disclosures in the financial statements. The procedures selected depend on the auditor's judgment, including the assessment of risk of material misstatement of the financial statements, whether due to fraud or error. In making these risk assessments, the auditor considers internal control relevant to the entity's preparation and fair presentation of the financial statements in order to design audit procedures that are appropriate in the circumstances, but not for the purposes of expressing an opinion on the effectiveness of the entity's internal control. An audit also includes evaluating the appropriateness of accounting policies used and the reasonableness of accounting estimates made by management, as well as evaluating the overall presentation of the financial statements. We believe that the audit evidence we have obtained is sufficient and appropriate to provide a basis for our audit opinion, which is, in our opinion, the financial statements present fairly, in all material respects, the financial position of the Corporation of the Town of Osoyoos as at December 31st, 2013, and the results of its operation and its cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with Canadian public sector accounting principles. Signed, White Kennedy LLP, Penticton, British Columbia, May 5th, 2014.
Thank you. Mr. Zacco, please.
Thank you, Mr. Doherty. So I'm just going to go over some briefs of some highlights from the financial statements for Council's information. From page 2, the consolidated statement of financial position, we have an increase in net financial assets of $885,933, which brings the total amount up to $6,453,258. Accumulated surplus has increased to $57,692,809. $49,241,780 is equity in tangible capital assets, not cash liquid. Page 3, the consolidated statement of operations. The excess revenue over expenditures is $1,807,043 in 2013. Of this, the portions referenced below is the cash surplus from the three funds. So our general fund had a cash surplus of $693,838.05. Our sewer fund, $605,220.52. And our water fund, $99,218.43. From page 9 in notes, Note 2, cash and cash equivalents. The 2013 balance is $1,623,704. This is down from $1,773,158 in 2012. Temporary investments, their 2013 balance is $11,900,000. This is up from $9 million in 2012. Accounts receivable, the 2013 balance is $871,196. This is down from $2,290,871 in 2012. The Municipal Finance Authority deposits. This is demand notes and cash deposits being held as debt reserve funds, amounted to $76,588. On page 10, the notes, deferred revenue. Our 2013 balance is $2,683,809. This is down from $2,695,736 in 2012. Note 7 on page 11, general fund is increased by $280,107. This is our Cottonwood Road reconstruction borrowing that we took place. Sewer fund is decreased by $40,612, down to a total debt for sewer of $462,921. And our water fund is decreased by $59,889 to a debt load of $204,429, which includes a payout of debt on Bylaw 857. Page 12, Note 8, tangible capital assets. The net book value is increased to $50,943,086. Our equity in tangible capital assets is $49,241,780. Development cost charges. Our parks developments have increased by $8,827 to $769,706. Our roads DCCs have decreased by $108,581 with a balance of $688,009. We used some of those funds for the Cottonwood Road project last year. Our sewer sewer DCCs have increased by $8,884 with a balance of $439,056. Water DCCs have increased by $5,235 to a balance of $206,231, and our storm drain DCC account has decreased by $3,541, so it's in a credit balance of $18,046, which the Parks DCC fund is currently supporting. Under page 16, tangible capital assets, capital leases. The net book value of tangible capital assets under capital leases has decreased by $176,876 with a balance of $570,655 owing. Page 17 are tangible capital assets. Net book value of tangible capital assets has increased by $975,471 to a balance of $50,943,086. Reserves for future expenditures. General fund has $903,954. This is down from the $990,760 in 2012. Sewer fund has $521,499, down from $1,306,182 in 2012. And the water fund has $1,438,389, up from $1,044,652 in 2012. Under Schedule of Property and Other Taxation on page 19, our net taxation was $2,467,887. On page 20, consolidated revenues and expenditures by object. The excess revenue over expenditures was $1,807,043 for 2013. This also shows the level of subsidization through taxation for protective, transportation, and recreation and cultural services. Page 21, Cemetery Care Fund. This fund has increased by $3,220 and has a balance of $75,422 in 2013. The Sun Bowl Arena had a surplus of $136 at the end of 2013. Not very much, but at least it was in a surplus position. So implications for the community: financial accountability for the community, organizationally financial accountability to council and staff, significant dates: the financial statements must be approved and sent to the Ministry of Community, Sport and Cultural Development by the statutory deadline of May 15th. Option before council for council to approve the Town of Osoyoos and Sun Bowl Arena audited financial statements as presented.
Thank you. Councillors, please. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, I would move the approval of the audited financial statements as presented.
Thank you. And seconded by Councillor Rhodes. Any discussion on that? Councillor Ryan.
Yes, well, they look very good, and I have to commend Mr. Zackel for this, sort of nice short presentation here that pulled out all the bottom lines and all the relevant information for us. So certainly I think that'll be helpful to anyone who looks at it on the website or whatever. But yeah, it's very promising. Obviously we've done a lot, and we've kept our balances in general, in a positive. A few went down a little bit, but they all look fairly healthy.
Great, thank you. Anything further from council? All in favor of approval? Opposed? They have been approved. Again, Mr. Zackel, under Business 3, Fire Protection Agreement with the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. So before council is the fire protection agreement between the Town of Osoyoos and the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District. The current one expires December 13th, 2014. The attached fire protection agreement between the town and the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District will commence January 1st, 2015. This agreement includes a commitment from the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District to pay their portion of the new proposed fire hall and the revised cost sharing based on the district's assessment being 50% of the taxable land and 100% of the taxable value of improvements using the net converted hospital base, and the town's assessment being 100% of improvements only. The Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District approved and signed the attached fire protection agreement at their April 22nd, 2014 meeting. Some implications for the community: ensures funding arrangements are secured for the provision of fire protection and the commitment towards the capital portion of the proposed new fire hall. Budget ensures funding agreement is in place between the town and the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District. Significant dates: agreement will commence effective January 1st, 2015. Sustainability: the agreement reduces the impact to the town's taxpayers for fire protection. The options before council: council to authorize the signing of the fire protection agreement between the town of Osoyoos and the Osoyoos Rural Fire Protection District as presented, or option 2, to make further revisions. And so staff is recommending option 1.
For authorization, council, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I'll move option 1 as it's worded in the options.
Great. And Fireman Plant as the seconder on that. Any discussions on that? Councillor Ryan, please.
Yes, thank you. Well, I just want to commend our staff for an excellent report. You know, when you we've discussed the elements of this on many occasions at council, and even when you look at the implications, you know, they're little one sentences and sometimes they just fly by, but you know, there's some really important realities there that they are the fire the rural areas is contributing to fire protection for themselves, of course, but they're also making a major commitment of a capital portion of the new fire hall, and there are revisions every 5 years to the amount of money, and there's even provision if for whatever reason they decide to withdraw, you know, how we deal with that. So it's just a very, very comprehensive agreement, and so I think it's an achievement that all our discussions have paid off through the negotiations that our staff have led with the rural fire people.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, and those were very good words indeed. As you stated, when we're going through it here, they're pretty short statements, but there's a ton of work behind every one of those. That's for sure. So it's been a good job, Director Zacco, and thanks for your effort, and CAO Romanco and Ms. Van Vienen, who has the next topic. But I have to get the vote here first. Is there any further discussion on this? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Under Business 4, the 2014. Thank you again, Mr. Zacco.
Thank you.
Nice to have you here, Mr. Doherty.
Thank you very much. I'd like to thank the CAO and the Director of Financial Service and all the staff for their cooperation.
Great.
And I'd especially like to thank the Mayor. As you may know, part of our audit procedures is our audit senior on the job talks to the Mayor to go over some of the controls, and this particular Mayor is very good at putting them to task and asking all the hard questions so they really learn their job. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. I think. Under Business 4, 2014 Annual General Meeting date, Ms. Van Vienen, Corporate Services.
Thank you. Section 99 of the Community Charter requires that Council hold an annual general meeting to consider the annual report before June 30th of each year. The public has an opportunity to address Council regarding the annual report at that meeting. The Town of Osoyoos has typically held the annual general meeting at its second meeting of the month of June. For 2014, this would be June 16th, 2014. The meeting can be held on a day separate from the regular open meeting of Council. However, it is convenient to hold it on the same day. 1 hour is being suggested for the meeting to allow for a review of the annual report and for the public to address Council. In the past, the AGM has lasted 1 to 2 hours depending on the number of questions received from the public. In 2013, the meeting started at 1 p.m. and ended at 2:11 p.m. It is suggested that the AGM begin at 1 p.m. on June 16, 2014, and that the regular meeting be advertised to begin immediately following the AGM, which would meet the notice requirements. Under implications for community, opportunity for the public to address Council regarding the 2013 achievements. Organizationally, all directors to be in attendance. There are no budget implications, And significant dates, the requirement under the community charter is to prepare the annual report and schedule the AGM before the end of June. Options being presented are that the annual general meeting for the town of Osoyoos be held on Monday, June the 16th, 2014 at 1 p.m. in the council chambers, and that the regular open meeting of council begin immediately following the AGM, or that the AGM be held on another date and time, and staff recommend option 1.
Thank you. Council, please. Councillor Bond.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I would move option 1, that the AGM for the town of Osoyoos be held on Monday, June 16th, 2014 at 1 p.m.
Second, please. Councillor McCordoff. Pretty straightforward. Any discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. Bringing us to business 5, and I actually had meant to remove this from the agenda, and I didn't. And so I'm going to ask council to defer this to the next meeting. This was the general local elections appointment of chief election officer. And while I'm asking that to be deferred, I just was hand-delivered some information this morning. And I think before we make this decision, council should have an opportunity to go through that information. It came from a citizen, so I'm asking for that resolution motion to defer. Councillor Plant and Ryan, please. I don't think there's any discussion. All in favor? Thank you. This will come up on our next meeting. Thank you. Brings us to business 6, Victim Services Program Funding Agreement. Again, Corporate Services, Ms. Van Vienen, please.
Thank you. The town of Osoyoos has administered the Victim Services Program for Osoyoos since 2005. The contract runs for 1 year from April 1st to March 31st. The total funding for the program for 2014-15 fiscal year is $35,560, which is made in 4 equal payments to the town of Osoyoos of $8,890, as shown in Schedule B. Appendix F is not included with the attached contract, as it contains specific personal information regarding the program coordinator and other contact information, as well as detailed funding and other FOI issues. Funding for the Victim Services Program will not be sent to the town until the contract has been executed by both the town as the contractor and the province. Insurance is not an issue, as we cover the program manager under the town's liability policy. The town also covers the WCB and reimburse for vehicle insurance through the program funding. With respect to the supervision and determination of what services are provided to victims, this has been put in the hands of the RCMP officer in charge to decide, along with the program manager. Implications under community: provide victim services program through the RCMP. Organizationally, administration of the funding. Budget: there are no budget implications. Significant dates: any delay in approval will delay payment from the province. And sustainability: continuation of victim services to the community. Options: that the mayor and corporate officer be authorized to sign the 2014-15 Victim Services Program Funding Agreement for Osoyoos for a 1-year term, or that council not enter into an agreement for Victim Services Program. And staff recommend option 1, to not approve this agreement would leave Osoyoos without a Victim Service Assistance Program.
Great, thank you. Councillor Bushes, Councillor Ryan, please.
I would move the option 1 to authorize the mayor and corporate officer to sign the agreement.
Thank you. And Councillor Rhodes is seconding. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Yeah, that's a very good service we get. That's good value for the dollar. Into the next item, RBC Learn to Play Project Grant Application. Sarah, oh, there, I was.
Snuck over.
You did. Sarah Dennison, please.
Okay. So the RBC Learn to Play project is providing a granting opportunity of $1,000 to $10,000 for organizations to provide opportunities to children's ages 2 to 12 years to learn fundamental skills necessary to participate in sports and physical activity. And I've attached more information with the report. The RBC Learn to Play project is committing over $2 million over the next 3 years to support such projects and programs that focus on the physical literacy of children ages 2 to 12 years. According to the Canadian Sports for Life, physical literacy are the skills and competence to enjoy a variety of sports and physical activities. The development of physical literacy in childhood leads to improved physical activity, health, and overall well-being throughout a person's lifetime. The Community Services Department would like to apply for the RBC Learn to Play grant to develop physical literacy programs in the community and increase our instructors' capacity to lead such programs. Programs will run in the spring and summer of 2015, and as part of the grant, the Community Services Department will be partnering and working with a variety of local and provincial organizations. The grant application requires Town Council support. So implications for the community, we'll be able to provide opportunities for children to develop necessary physical literacy skills and provide training opportunities for current and future program leaders and instructors. Organizational, be staff time to complete the application process and follow up with the grant if approved. For the budget, if approved, money received through the grant can be used towards staff training, transportation, equipment and supplies, facility use, program subsidy for low-income participants, promotion and program staffing and administration costs, and therefore will have little to no impact on the Town of Osoyoos' budget. Significant dates, the grant applications are due May 16th. And sustainability, through the partnerships created with the grant application, the programs and training opportunities will be able to continue once the RBC Learn to Play grant program is completed. The options, number 1, Town Council supports the Community Services Department's grant application with a formal resolution, and option 2, Town Council does not support the grant application, and staff recommendation is option 1.
Okay, thank you. Council, please. Councilor McCordoff.
Yes, thank you. I would move option 1. We support the Community Services Department's grant application with a formal resolution.
Thank you. And Councilor Rhodes seconding. And that is the formal application, is it?
Yes.
Formal resolution?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I just think that it's terrific the way the Community Services Department applies for many, many grants. Sometimes they don't get them, but most of the time they do, and kudos to them for taking the initiative to apply.
Councilor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, Sarah, once again, thank you very much for coming to council. I know this offers somewhat of a challenge. You're one of the few staff members that actually do come here, and so thank you very much for presenting this. I'm sure hoping that we're closer to that $10,000 mark than the $1,000. And so, yeah, thank you very much. Really appreciate it.
Councilor Ryan.
Yes. I'd like to simply endorse those comments. Do you have you got to the budget finalized to the point that you're able to release a number or tell us what range it's in?
Not quite yet, but we're probably looking at closer to the $3,000 to $5,000 grant.
Well, I hope you're successful. It all helps, and you've been very you've taken a lot of initiative to sort out and to seek out these grants. So I hope this is successful.
Thank you.
Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And Town Council really does like the programs that are happening over there. We get a lot of positive feedback on them, Director Davis, and yeah, you're doing good work. So this goes along with that good work that we're seeing. So
thank you, Mr.
Congratulations.
Mayor. Thank you.
Next item, Osoyoos Oxbow Road 22 Visitor Kiosk. This is worth getting excited about. We received this letter from Bryn White, and I'll let Mr. Romanko do the lead on it. And I think it's just really good. It's almost like a P3. We've got vineyard operators that are going to keep the site location cleaned up, and some signs coming. And of course, we're not going to be quite so lucky here because there is a bit of an ask for after budget dollars, and that's why the last ask was so good, because there wasn't dollars here. But we get through budget, we're just passing budget, and there's always these asks that keep coming. So CAO Romanko, please.
Yeah. Thank you, Mayor Wells. The Osoyoos Road 22 pullout and kiosk is undergoing a facelift with new beautiful interpretive signs and landscaping to improve the footprint of the pullout. They provided us with an extensive descriptions of what the boards will be saying. This is an important area for residents, visitors, and a tour destination, and these will improve Improvements will increase the attractiveness of the area significantly. The partners in the project are looking to raise $5,000 for the landscaping to complete the new look. Burrowing Owl Winery has confirmed that the services of their vineyard staff to come maintain the site, and Oliver Osoyoos Naturalist Club is also lending a hand. BC Nature, South Okanagan Naturalist, and RDOS have committed $750 so far. Please consider a contribution from the town of Osoyoos to this project to improve the quality of resident quality of life and visitor experience in the South Okanagan. It's anticipated the date of unveiling will be May 16th. So that's the ask to the council. There was no specific amount attached. Should council wish to make a contribution, I've been informed by our Director of Finance that we do have some funds available in our community development budget.
Gee, I'm not surprised. Mr. Zackel usually has a couple little hidden pockets somewhere along there with a little bit of money in that for these asks. A bit of an update on that. First off, I would like to congratulate Burrowing Owl Winery for taking over the maintenance of that. When you get these remote sites and that, it's hard to even know when they do need some cleaning up or some upgrades. So that's on the way there, and they're to be commended for that offer. Mm-hmm. I phoned up Director Pendergraft because I thought surely that the RDOS was going to commit more than $750. Those are administrative dollars that they've committed. Director Pendergraft and Director Patton from Area C, they're having discussions right now to see what they should put in. So putting that into our ask that's being made here now, this could be, if they've got some money there now, you know, maybe we could split it. Those two paying a half and us looking at a half. I'm not putting that out there, but there is money to be coming from the rural area A and C into this financial equation. So council's wishes, please. Councilor Ryan.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, I got an email as well that sort of spells out things a little more, and it's my addition is that the people that have committed so far have given about $21.50.
Oh, wonderful.
Yeah, and actually that I think they in this they put the $250 from regional district with some from the naturalists, the Penticton naturalists and the Osoyoos naturalists. So that's where you get the $750. But we happened. I was just conferring here with Councillor Plante, and we had $700 left over from our community service grants. So I was there the other day actually and saw the kiosk and was on my first hike since my surgery. So and we saw some excellent birds as well. And you also, the chances of seeing a bear or a deer there are also pretty good. But I would like to propose that we recommend and move that we allocate that balance of $700 to this purpose.
Okay. Okay, thank you. And seconder? Councillor Rhodes. Okay. Discussion, please. Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just a quick question. Can we do that?
Yes.
Okay. That's what I like. Quick question, real prompt answer.
Councillor McCurdock.
Yes, thank you. I had in my mind when I saw this, I thought $1,000, and I'm just wondering if that would be acceptable, using $700 from this and making it up with another $3, or is that not an appropriate way to do it? I'm not sure.
It really doesn't matter to us. It all comes out of the budget. It's just a matter of what column it comes out of. So it's council's discretion in terms of how much they want to allocate.
Case. Okay.
Well, there is a.
You can amend it, and you know, I mean, I certainly, if you wanted to say 1,000, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I just saw, you know, I just knew that we had the 700 sitting there.
I would like to suggest that that considering what the other people are doing, that the way we could help would be to donate 1,000.
And I would accept that as
Okay, as a
Friend-
friendly amendment.
yeah, mhm.
Okay, can we just, okay, Councillor Plant.
Yes, I'm going to go a little different. I think we should actually maybe step back here for a second and find out where we could, with Jim and also what you had mentioned about going back to the RDUS, see where their commitment lies and come up with that number instead of us just right here, right now deciding. I think the 700 obviously could be allocated to this. However, I think we might want to take a minute just to step back, see where the RDOS goes. Make this a little bit of a, I like this. I always like to make that little bit of a challenge, right? Make this, whether it's matching dollars type ideas or what we could actually do instead of making that final decision right here, right now. That would just be what I
really like that position, because I think with them looking at a ribbon cutting on the 16th time short, I don't think we're going to get any more contributions. We've got the Oliver Osoyoos Naturalist Club, BC Nature, South Okanagan Naturalists. So if they're taking up, we don't have that amount, but you said they're approximately 2,100. You heard in your letter.
2150, as we're
Then maybe between the town of Osoyoos and the two rural areas, A and C, they can scratch around in their budgets, and we should be able to get the 5,000. Because I'd hate to see this with $450 needed. That just sort of, that doesn't work for the project. Director Davis, you had a comment, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah, I guess we better get you on a microphone.
I'll just look up here.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We actually do have more than $700 remaining in the community service grants. We do have the 1,000 still for provincial teams or individuals that we could actually utilize, again, if it was allowable by council resolution.
Okay. Okay.
Just as an extra.
So I just think that, okay, Councillor Rhodes, please.
Well, I was just going to suggest that pattern seems to be a cost share with the other two entities. Why don't we just do that based on a third of whatever the deficit is once we determine that.
Okay, that would be good.
A lot of friendly reminders.
Okay. So what's the language going to be? We have Councillor Ryan's, but you could accept.
Oh, yeah, I just need to understand it. So, yeah, you're saying three ways. So if they may give different amounts. A and C may give different amounts. I thought that the idea of maybe stepping back from it and saying we'll make a commitment in principle, but we'd like to see what the others are going to do, and we'll sort of make ours then. I mean, maybe we'll top it up a bit, in case they aren't as generous as we would like to be.
Are you going to bail us out, Mr. Romanko?
Well, the only thing is that if they're having the opening on May 16th, council doesn't have another meeting before the 16th of May.
Right.
So it would be nice to have the contribution in some way recognized, that it's been, provided for. You may, maybe a resolution to contribute to a maximum amount, and that'll give us some flexibility based on the discussions that'll be occurring with the other two organizations, and then we can cut a check or make a commitment without another meeting being needed.
Great.
So if they've got 2,100 already,
2,150, yeah.
Yeah, 2,150.
That $1,000 that we have on the
$1,000
table looks pretty good.
Looks pretty good.
It's pretty close.
Okay, that's good, because other than that, I was going to have to ask Ms. Van Vienen to read it back.
I might want to.
So, are you suggesting that perhaps we say up to $1,000?
I would suggest a motion that would recognize a contribution to a maximum of $1,000.
Okay. So maybe we just put the word maximum in there, up to a maximum.
That's fine with me, and I think that if we did that and the area A and area C saw that, maybe they would step up with the same amount. So
Absolutely.
And I think maybe we have to get our seconder into this too. You're okay with that?
I support that totally. Yeah.
Okay, anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Oh,
Now can I just read it just to make sure I'm
okay,
clear?
okay. Okay.
Moved by Councillor Ryan and seconded by Councillor Rhodes, and resolved that council approves providing a contribution to a maximum of $1,000 to the Osoyoos Road 22 kiosk improvements project.
Great,
Okay,
thank you.
good, thank you.
Okay. Anything further? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. You know, we go through the $600,000 ones like that, always bogged down with the small ones,
But
which is
Mr. Mayor, we also get a lot of different parliamentary
exercises
on the small ones.
Thank you. Okay, next up under Business 9, a report on the Affordable Housing Society Authority. Mr. Romanko?
I guess I'll, in Director Cunningham's absence, I can address this. I know this is an item that was brought forward from this morning's Committee of the Whole meeting, but we were looking for a formal resolution on to address this particular issue, and I'll just go into it in detail, given the for the public here. Next week, in accordance with our business plan, staff will be posting an invitation for expression of interest for the purchase and residential development of the town-owned Richter property. The main body of the information package, which will be made available on request to any interested developer, is attached here. As can be seen, the selected developers' responsibilities will include setting aside 15% of their approximately 40 homes as near-market affordable units for sale at a discounted price to targeted working households, especially younger families. The affordable units would be managed by an affordable housing society/authority based on community volunteers, which the package says is currently being formed. While staff welcomes any comments on the package itself, the intent of this report is to request Council's authorization to start work on bringing forward terms of reference for Affordable Housing Society/Authority for their consideration. The overview, our ROCP, Southeast Meadowlark Area Plan, was approved by Council in 2010, contains the following policy: recruit a suitable nonprofit society to assist with targeting the delivery of affordable units to qualified recipients, including maintaining an eligibility list. In retrospect, it is advisable to consider the relative merits of a society which would largely be autonomous from the town with those of a semi-autonomous authority. However, staff does not recommend considering a third model which incorporates affordable housing management as an administrative function of the local government, which is common in U.S. jurisdictions, because it would place staff in an onerous position of deciding who and whom would not be offered the opportunity to purchase an affordable house. At the start of the current council's term, Councillor Ryan volunteered to take on affordable housing as his personal project. Accordingly, it is recommended that council now formally recognize him as council's representative for setting up and sitting on Affordable Housing Society, with Director Cunningham available as a resource person. The terms of reference to be developed collaboratively by Councillor Ryan and Director Cunningham would address any key issues of purpose and scope, membership and recruitment of community volunteers, including reaching out to members of our previous Affordable Housing Task Force, as well as operational procedures. It is also proposed that as their first task, the volunteer members could usefully collaborate in developing the program guidelines, which would be responsible for administering. An excellent starting point for this discussion is the attached example from California, City of Mountain View below market rate housing program administrative guidelines. The options being presented are appoint Councillor Ryan as council's representative in setting up and sitting on a council-approved Affordable Housing Society/Authority with Director Cunningham available as a resource person. Option 2, other institutional arrangements that would satisfy meeting our obligations for delivering affordable housing to targeted recipients. In terms of impacts, the town's commitment to building affordable housing has strong basis through our OCP, Affordable Housing Strategy and Task Force, Southeast Meadowlark Area Plan, and intensive residential development permit area guidelines and would continue through community volunteers on an affordable housing society / authority. Budget, terms of reference will be prepared in-house and operating costs will be minimal. Organizationally, there will be a collaboration between Councillor Ryan and Director Cunningham. Timelines, terms of reference should be submitted to Council within 2 months, ready for recruiting citizen volunteers. Sustainability, providing near-market affordable housing to working households and preferably younger families will assist broadening our economy and diversifying our community. And staff recommends option number 1.
Thank you, CAO Romanko. Councillor Rhodes, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So I'm very happy and pleased to make a motion based on the wording in option number 1.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Ryan, you're...
Yes, I'm comfortable with that. I was just, in terms of the discussion, there was earlier discussion today about the feasibility of having, as we've done in the past, more than one person, either as an alternate or as an equal member.
Right.
Since the task before this group is, the first task is to create terms of reference, if council is prepared at this point, I think it would be desirable to have another member appointed, so that there is at least a threesome working on the terms of reference, which will talk about among other things the membership of the committee and how they'll be appointed. So as I say, I think that if there was 2 councillors and Director Cunningham working on those terms of reference, I think that would be perhaps even a bonus.
Okay, yeah, and I was going to go there. I was going to do them separately, but we can put them on the same motion if you'd like. So is there a volunteer to be the alternate on the Affordable Housing Society?
I will volunteer to be on that.
Okay, okay. That suits council's. Okay, good with everybody. Okay, so now we have Councillor Ryan, and we'll still, I think, designate him as the point person, and Councillor McCordoff as the alternate, but attending all meetings.
Absolutely.
Okay, and this is going to take a little bit of extra effort to get us started off here. So I think that's a great idea. Any input from council? Councillor Rhodes.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Did we have a seconder for that, or? Yep. Okay. Just wanted to comment that this project, as it moves forward, for lack of a better word, is going to be a very, very important part of our community development over the next little while. I know Councillor Ryan's passion for this. I've sat on through many meetings with him, and I feel really, really comfortable making this motion, just simply because of that last, that interaction that I've had with Councillor McCordoff added in there. I'm sure you guys will draw out some outstanding members of our community that can make this task force something that's really, really beneficial for our future. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else? Because none. Any further comments? Okay. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Sorry, I do have some comments associated with it, but not part of the motion. When we're looking at this, I'm wondering if we were going to look at first off the commercial part of the subdivision, and whether we were going to look at any DC movement on our charges. I don't think we've really had that discussion yet. Certainly we would be entertaining that, I believe, on the affordable housing component. But looking at the economy and looking at trying to get things with a bit of a kickstart, I know some communities have downgraded some of their DC charges. And if we were putting those lots on the market, I think that should be a part of the dialogue going in here for our new committee members to be a part of doing some research and seeing what some other communities are doing, and maybe we can get somebody interested in building a few houses up there, and they may be spec or that. But I think we should look at what we're charging those people. I know if Mr. Zackel was here, he'd be going like this. But I think sometimes you have to take those steps forward to be a bit of a catalyst in the community. So I'd like that to be a part, just a verbal communication to the committee. Councillor Ryan.
Yes, thank you. Good point. I can't find it right at the moment, but I think in the attached information package, they talk about suitable incentives to be negotiated with the successful developer.
Great.
For that very purpose, to make sure that those affordable houses are somewhat reduced, so that there's a shared, if you will, a shared support for the discount.
Okay. And this was even beyond the affordable housing.
Oh,
I'm
okay.
thinking on the first one, on the commercial housing.
Okay, right.
Because sometimes it just takes that catalyst to get things moving a little bit. And I see Director Cunningham is here now, but I don't know. I don't think I'm going to spring this on you, because I think you've missed the dialogue, and it would be unfair. I caught something. Oh, you did. You want to answer? You're going to. Okay. So the question, Director Cunningham, is as we look at the Southeast Meadowlark development, and we're going to go for expressions of interest to builders. A part of that is going to be the affordable housing component. But my question was, have we looked at not eliminating, but perhaps adjusting some of the development cost charges to make that first step forward? I mean, I understand we would do it for the affordable housing component. Would we look at doing something like that for the commercial part of the development, which is going to be the first step? If we don't have the commercial part, we're not going to have the affordable housing component. So would we look at DC, investigate lowering DC cost charges as other communities in British Columbia have done?
Yeah, I took a negotiation strategy to council last year, and I believe there was 6 forms of incentives for affordable housing that we could look at, but some of them overlapped with the other market houses. And so that, for instance, with the DCCs, there's the opportunity that you could offer a partial break or a complete break on just the near market affordable units, or you could spread it across all the housing in the development. And there was other instances of that, building fees as well. So to answer your question, there is that opportunity, and we will be looking at that when we get into the negotiations with the selected developer.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, you may. Okay. Okay. Thanks a lot. So that has been that's already been passed. So thank you for that. Into the addition to the agenda, which was business 10, the cactus jalopies. Director Davis, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Cactus Car Jalopy Show is an annual event, and in the past, the town has supported it financially. Past years, council approved funds from the resort municipality funding, but this year, those funds have been allocated to other projects. The Jalopies is a non-profit group, and they bring over 200 cars from out of town, as well as a few thousand spectators. Their last year's profit they realized was given to the Splash Park project. The organizers are requesting funding to help offset the costs associated with the event. They're asking for $1,200 for advertising and $3,000 to help offset the cost of the bike jumpers as part of their entertainment. The bike jumpers have been part of the event for a few years and attract spectators of all ages. If this event is planned for future years, council may want to allocate funds on an annual basis as part of the budget process. In terms of implications for the community, it's an excellent event, and it does attract a large numbers of people. Organizational staff person sits on the organizing committee as a liaison for the town. The budget is asking, or a financial request, for $4,200. And the significant dates is ASAP, as the car show is scheduled for June 7th. The options are for council to approve a funding request of $4,200 to assist with the cost of advertising and entertainment for the Cactus Jalopies event as an annual sponsorship. Option number 2, for council to approve a funding request of $4,200 to assist with the cost of advertising and entertainment for the Cactus Jalopies event for this year only. Option number 3, for council to approve a different amount of funding for this event. Or option number 4, for council to approve no funding. And staff is recommending option number 2.
Thank you, Director Davis. Before we get to the resolution, could we have, where would the funding come from? Would this possibly be RMI funding, or do we need to know the source of that funding?
Well, the source of funding, we'd prefer not to take it out of the resort municipality funding, because we had $15,000 allocated, and that money went to Desert Live, and that's in our budgeted, in our strategy. We do have money in community development because our agreement with Destination Osoyoos was based on an annual basis, and their new staff person didn't come on till April, so we've got some money that was going to go towards economic development and visitor enhancement anyway. So that would be the source of the funding.
Okay, so the money is available, and we're not robbing from a different program or anything?
No.
Okay, I think that makes it a lot easier for council. Councillor Plunk.
I just wanted to get a couple numbers. What did we approve last year for funds from the resort municipality funding?
I think it was $5,000.
Okay, yeah. Thank you.
Councillor Rooks?
Similarly, I'd like to know the amount of the contribution to the splash park.
Yeah, we confirmed that the donation for the splash park was $500.
So we're going back to the ask, and what's council's wishes for the $4,200 ask? I can't make a motion. Councilor
One more question. So would we need to get, so this is, again, to get this right, economic development is where we're getting the dollars from?
Well, we had money assigned under our, we call it community development, that we were going to give to Destination Osoyoos, was $88,000, based on an annual contract. But since their person didn't start till April, the agreement was prorated on a monthly basis. So we've got some money that would be coming out of community development, economic development. Yeah.
Looking for that council resolution, please, Councilor McCordock. Don't do it yet if you're not.
I'm not sure about the resolution. My one concern about this is that if this was to come out of economic development, and I believe it did in the past, then the economic development arm is not here, and it's over at Destination Osoyoos, and I'm wondering whether that would be the place to request funds rather than from the town, or am I incorrect in that?
Well, council had identified a budget number for economic development based on the contract with Destination Osoyoos. Seeing how we've lived up to that contract, the money left now is basically council's money to identify, to either we retain it as a reserve or expend it on a project that we feel may have that type of connection, or to put it into another area. So, in terms of engaging the economic development, I don't know that that's necessary. Okay. Certainly in this situation, as is recommended by the staff, I think there's a need to clarify with Cactus Jalopies their project, where it sits. Maybe it's something that has to be referred to DO in the future, or it becomes something that council wants to fund on an ongoing basis.
And I think I'm just going to restate what CAO Romanko said. When the salary for the previous employee at DO ended at the end of the year, and we funded for that $88,000 number, and basically the new employee started at the very last of April, so that's January, February, March, April. That's a third. So roughly there's a third, I don't want to look at it that way, but there's a third of $88,000 that's available, and this is an ask for 4,200. I think part of this should be that we shouldn't be doing business like this anymore. I mean, we have the ask now, but I certainly wouldn't want to see this coming forward at this time next year, you know, on the same line that we're approaching this. So those are my comments, and I think it was Councillor Plant Rhodes, please.
So I'm going to take this and swing it around to the positivity of this event.
Yeah.
It is a great event, and it's been happening, and we've been getting more and more cars involved, and JF has just done a spectacular job. It is an incredible event, and I'm totally supportive of it. So I am going to put the motion out there that we do approve. We'll go with the option 2, that the council approve a funding request of the 4,200, and that we only do it for this year only. That funding so that next year we get everything clear on how we want to do this.
Great motion, fully support. I thought you were going to do it earlier.
I know.
Councillor Rhodes.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Ditto and second.
Okay, thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. There, $4,200 going their way. Maybe we will mention that it may not be so favorable if it arrived this way next year. There's a budget process. Let's try to get these folks bringing their asks up front at the appropriate time.
Yeah, just speaking to that, I think that's probably the content of the letter that'll come from Director Davis, that you know, they will be sending them to Destination Osoyoos,
okay,
or to the community funding program, the grant program, but not as a kind of an ad hoc granting request.
Okay, perfect, super. Okay, thank you. That ends the business portion of the meeting. We have a few reports: General Sunbowl Arena payroll accounts, cash requirements to May the 5th, general account $254,623.14, Sunbowl Arena $9,041.72, and payroll accounts for receipt of $68,088.06. Any discussion on those? Hearing none, that will be adopted by consensus. Building permit report for the month of April. Nice figure, total for the month, $738,000. Total for 2014 to date, $1,914,000. That included one new house on Torrey Pines, and the rest were smaller jobs. So that's a good month, and those are good numbers. I can hardly wait till they really start going and taking off, and I think that is actually just around the corner. Committee reports. We have a committee report today from Desert Live, and that is Councillor McCordoff is the council liaison.
Thank you. I did attend a meeting, the last meeting of the Desert Live group, and it was on Friday afternoon, so it was just a couple days ago. Some of the smaller committees, stakeholders and vendor committee and license and so on have been meeting separately, so this was a meeting of several people. One of the things that we were very happy with is that Eastlink has made a donation, a one-year agreement to donate some cash and some in-kind, doing some reporting and so on. So that was a good thing, because that took a while. There's also a security plan, as you heard Sergeant Schur talk about a little while ago. With a fellow named Randy Brown, who is the inspector for the Liquor Control Board, and there's quite a concern about the new liquor laws that are in the process of being talked about and are being okayed at the ministry level. So the problem is, as soon as you have over 500 people, that triggers a security plan that is needed. And so Randy Brown, who's the inspector from Kelowna, and Sergeant Schur, and Mike Campbell and Terry Baptiste from the Desert Live executive are going to be working together to make sure that they come up with a reasonable plan that suits everybody and that everybody is happy with the security. Bell Media has also come on board, and they are going to do some advertising, do some media coverage. So that's a very good thing. We also have lots of community support as well. And there are the revised budget has been sent to the town, which is a good thing. There is a need now for volunteers, and I think there's going to be I think Stacy Little is in charge of this, of putting out a form on online. If you go to desertlive.ca, you will find lots of information about this particular event, and they are needing volunteers for a variety of positions. So if anybody is interested in helping out, June the 27th to it sort of includes July the 1st, which is handled mainly by the Osoyoos Festival Society. So please look online, and if you would like to help in some way, they would be very happy to accept that. So I think that there will be some other meetings fairly soon, because we've got 2 months to go, or less than 2 months, so they'll have to be getting onto this thing quickly.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. You said that very, very well. And one of the keynotes there is that volunteer component. I know I'm looking for something that I can help out on there. And it's going to be leading up to July the 1st. It is the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, July 1st on Tuesday. So it's a rocking big weekend in the little town. So all hands on deck would be appropriate here as we look at people, and if that's just being a traffic person for some component of it, or some sort of security, or whatever you can do, this group and this town would really appreciate it. So thank you very much. And that brings us to CAO report. CAO Romanko, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. Just a few of the activities that our administration has been involved in over the last couple of weeks. Starting with community services, staff attended the BC RPA conference in Kelowna. There seemed to be a lot of discussion regarding the future relationship between Interior Health and municipalities. They have scheduled June 6th as the grand opening date for the splash park. They will install the equipment when it arrives, and it needs to be operational before that date. The washrooms on site will be painted, and a thank you sign will be part of the day, with a more permanent sign being installed at a later date. The Sun Bowl arena ice is scheduled to be removed starting today, and the arena will be shut down for approximately 6 weeks. They have met with the Lawn Bowling Club to try and boost their program locally, and the Move for Health Day is scheduled for May 10th. We are offering 2 free pickleball clinics, and a drop-in for the gym and weight room activities will also be free. This is sponsored in part with a grant that we received from the BC RPA. In terms of corporate services, they developed the election bylaw report council dealt with today, and also the local victim services administration contracts. Finance completed administration of the Parcel tax bylaw review, completed the financial and audit reports for council, and the fire protection agreement. Planning and development has been reviewed the results of the Gyro Park tenders and developed council's report. Also developed a report on the Affordable Housing Society. Public Works, the 36th Avenue and Bayview storm scepters are now in place, and the upgrades to the Lakeshore Drive storm areas are near completion. They're just waiting for final paving. The tender for the reclaimed water expansion has been awarded, and the pre-construction meeting has also taken place. The reservoir cleaning is completed. Public Works new and more efficient shop lights are being hooked up by Public Works staff. The irrigation season is underway with no major obstacles. Beach cleaning of Legion Beach was done after the forest main was completed, and all parks irrigation and spruce up maintenance work has started. And Brad Garska will be the seasonal worker starting on May 5th. In terms of myself, just a couple of things. MMBC operating planning continues, and I'll be bringing kind of a report to council next meeting, as the it actually starts on the 19th, and council's meeting will be on the 20th. But there'll be some changes I'd just like to bring to council's to the council table. Reviewed the final draft of the sewer capacity study, and that should be coming to council very shortly. Also met with TELUS representatives about a small cell service upgrades in town. Attended the lawn bowling annual meeting, and between myself and operations, we reviewed the content of the cemetery bylaw. So that's my report for today.
Thanks, A.O. Romanko. Councillors' reports. Councillor Plant, please.
Thank you, Mayor Wells. I'm going to leave a lot of my time to Councillor Ryan and Councillor McCordoff and Mayor Wells on the Selga. I'm excited to hear a little bit about what went on there, but I just want to send out a congratulations to the Oyster Festival, which happened from April 23rd to April 27th. I had a chance to participate in a couple of different events, and it seems to be growing some momentum over the last couple of years, and it's really exciting to see everyone get involved, from the hotels, resorts, the restaurants, and the wineries. And so I just wanted to say congratulations to that. And there's a nice little article in the Osoyoos Times that you can read, and talking a little bit about, you know, the roughly 40 food, wine, and craft beer and oyster vendors that were in the area. And I enjoyed the event. I enjoyed the oysters. I still say we had some from New Zealand, we had some from all over, but I still, BC oysters, I think, are still my favorite. But, and again, it was a great event, and I really enjoyed it, so thanks to them for putting that on, and great success, and looking forward to it again next year. And I'm going to leave it at that, and look forward to some Silga information.
Great. Thanks, Councillor Plant. Councillor McCordoff.
Thank you. So, as you've heard, on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday of last week, there is a SILGA, Southern Interior Local Government Association annual meeting. It was in Penticton this year. Councillor Ryan and I were there for all 3 days, and Mayor Wells joined us for one of the long days. It's for councillors and some town staff and regional district personnel. So there were many things that were on the agenda. There was speakers and breakout sessions, and a little bit of enjoying each other's company too on the boat. The Sicamous, we had a reception there and a lovely dinner. The first day we went to Okanagan College, to the Center for Excellence, a living building tour in its green, eco-friendly building. Solar panels, wonderful airflow, no chemicals used for cleaning. It is an amazing building, and well worth visiting if you have the chance. There were also people that spoke on municipal insurance, just so that you know the kinds of things that we're dealing with. There were economists there trying to make us feel better about the state of the economy. Local election reform, we had the vice president from WestJet spoke to us. We had Jeff Locke from Fulton and Company on legal perspectives. And one of the fun things was that Mayor Naheed Nenji from Calgary spoke to us after our dinner meeting, and he was an excellent speaker and very passionate about his ability to be the mayor of the city of Calgary. But two of the particularly interesting topics that I want to talk about and I'm going to outline both of them briefly. One was a gentleman named Chad Shipmaker, who is the Deputy Director of the Howard G. Buffett Foundation, Warren Buffett's son. And it is based in the States, but Chad is from the North Okanagan, so I'm sure that was why he was contacted to come. They have a $3 billion investment in the World Food Program. So what he said was that nobody can look at somebody else, or it's not common to look at somebody and know whether they're hungry or not. But what his concern was mostly was on food security. So food security is reliable access to enough nutritious, safe food in the long run. By 2050, there will be 9 billion people on the earth, and we will need 70% more food than we produce today. So that's a rather sobering thought. It's kind of, some of the problems incurred are climate unpredictability, changing dietary demands, lack of soil health globally, lack of planning, and crop rotation, a 40-year time frame. The problem with a lot of the people that deal with this is that they're economists, not farmers, and he was suggesting that we need to look at farmers more. Food banks, he was asked what did he think about food banks. He says they're absolutely necessary, but they're Band-Aids. Someone asked about using corn for fuel. He said growing food for fuel consumption is a bad idea. So his other concern was water, and the Okanagan Valley could be challenged in terms of water for the next while. His suggestions were precision irrigation, which I thought was an interesting term, constant ground cover so that the ground does not dry out, and take a long-term perspective on local lands. Those were his recommendations, and it seemed to make sense. So I kept thinking in the back of my mind, Agricultural Land Commission, so that was one of the things I found most interesting. The other topic was by Lee Mossman, who's the president of the CUPE here, and Brianne, not Gabriel, Brianne Hilson, she used to be Gabriel, was also there, and they made a very interesting short presentation. And one of the things that this Lee said was, it's a thing called the 10% shift. And I have a brochure here. I brought some information back for Councillor Rhodes, because I know that this is right up his alley. What they're saying is the 10% shift is good for the community, and by the way, it is 10percentshift.ca if you would like to look at it online. Think locally first, local business, local producers. If just 10% of household expenditures and purchases of local goods and services if people increased their budget to do 10%, the local economy would benefit, even just for a little bit. So it would make a huge difference. If the 10% shift won't turn things around, at least it's a step in the right direction. So those two things led me to my next, which is the Market on Main. And I'm very passionate about supporting the Osoyoos Market on Main, and it made me think about it with these two presentations. And the opening of the 2014 Market on Main will be on in a week, 10 days, on May the 17th. It is right outside here at Town Square. And it will be from 8 o'clock until 1 o'clock every Saturday until the end of September. During the months of July and August, there will be an added Market on Main, which will be down at Gyro Beach, and it will be Wednesdays from 5:30 to 8:30. So please come out and shop locally. Local businesses, local producers. We don't have a lot of fruits and vegetables, for the first little while because they're not ready. But there are lots of art projects. There's sewing and quilting and jewelry making, and our local bakery quite often comes out, jams and jellies, and as soon as fruits and vegetables are available, they will be available at the market. So come and support your local market. Thank you.
Thanks, Councillor McCordoff. Councillor Rhodes, I believe.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So my comments you can put squarely in sometimes the small things in life are very meaningful. A couple of weeks ago, as acting mayor, I was able to attend the Mayor's Prayer Breakfast. It's a community event, and you know, I was really humbled being there. And through an initiative by Mayor Wells, I was able to do a little bit of research about these things. And for Jeanette's benefit, I am paraphrasing from the words that I said there, but nobody else has actually heard them. So, but, you know, national mayor prayer events are held in hundreds of countries around the world. They're attended by mayors, prime ministers, U.S. presidents, entertainers, and dignitaries from all over the world. And you think the name Mayor's Prayer Breakfast would you know, maybe bring forward a religious component and that kind of thing, but it doesn't really. It was non-denominational, and it felt good and very comfortable being there. But in consecutive years in Washington, D.C., Mother Teresa and Bono from U2 spoke and inspired the attendees that were there. And every president since Dwight Eisenhower has attended the prayer breakfast in Washington. And so I just made a little bit of a comment, you know, a saint, a president, a rock star. Man, we were in good company when we were there. And, you know, I was impressed by the bigger picture. These comments are always nice to hear, but what was really important to me was our community. And as councillors, you know, we get to attend all kinds of events, and the ones that really stand out for me were the ones such as this one in our community. And going back to that collaboration and interaction during these types of events, you know, they really are the driving force behind strong communities. And I always look forward to the ideas and opinions of others because they inspire me to make the right decisions and help our community to have a future that is healthy, vital, and sustainable. And I really got that. You know, it was a small room. There was maybe 75, 80 people there. Thank you very much to Jeanette and her family for allowing me to sit at their table. And, you know, another thing, and I promised that I would bring this up, we sang the national anthem towards the end of it. And you know, I went out when I left there, and I'll get around to my comment about our national anthem, and I did a very, very official, although non-scientific poll of 15 of my friends, and yes, I do have 15 friends, and I asked every one of them if they knew the words to O Canada, and most of them said, yeah, they watch hockey games and they sporting events and they sing it at things like this, but really, nobody knew that when we sing our national anthem in Canada, we're not singing the full song. There actually is another verse to it, and we sang it at this particular event, and not one of my 15 friends knew that. Never even had a clue that there was a longer version of our national anthem. So I'm going to drop that on you and everybody just as a maybe not so meaningful statistic or thing, but I found it very interesting that nobody I knew or had the opportunity to ask even knew that. So this was a really, really neat way to spend an early morning. The people that were there were just great. Everybody was just, you know, friendly and talking and sitting at tables, and the interaction was just really good and very, very vital for me. It felt really good being there.
Thanks, Councillor Rhodes. I ran into Ken Clark yesterday, I guess Pastor Clark, and he said you were quite lively out there. So thanks for being the alternate mayor and attending that. I appreciate that. Councillor Ryan.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Well, Councillor McCordoff has given a good overview of the content of the SILGA convention, which I was privileged to attend as well, and it was very exciting and informative. One of my main purposes in going there was to carry a resolution that our council had passed and which we had put forward for consideration, and I'm happy to say that it was successful, and we'll go on to the UBCM in September, I guess it is, isn't it? It was regarding quagga and zebra mussels, and I think we're all aware of approximately a month ago, just a little over a month ago, when there was a boat that was coming into the country at our port of entry in Osoyoos, and which a very knowledgeable and alert officer inspected and found that it had some mussels in it, persuaded the driver to leave it there until a conservation officer could come, and they found that it was in fact infected. However, fortunately the little beasts were dead, but they did clean it and drain it and dry it and got it on its way. So that was kind of a near miss, I guess, for us. And it's estimated by our Okanagan Water Board that if we ever became infected here, there could be at least $43 million a year in cost to manage the results of these little mussels getting into our water intakes and outfalls and putting our ecology at risk and causing toxic blooms and ruining our beaches. So our recommendations and our resolution consisted of two parts. First of all, we were calling on our provincial government to provide the Ministry of the Environment with sufficient resources, financial and human, so that they could undertake boat inspections. And we have a lot of lakes and a lot of water bodies in the province, so what we said was that they should be at the interprovincial points of entry and as well as within the province. But getting people who are outside the province who are coming into it from either the American border points or from Alberta, it was really important. The mussels have infected most of eastern Canada, and they've gone as far as Lake Winnipeg. And in the United States, at least 33 states are infected. Fortunately, Idaho, because of a massive program that they have, they're very successful of interdiction and cleaning, doesn't have them. Washington, I'm not sure whether they have some or not, but certainly Oregon and Montana and Wyoming are free at the moment. But it is a danger, and so we asked that. We also asked further that the provincial government urge the federal government to pass its pending regulations under the Fisheries Act to prevent these invasive species being transported or in any way released, and that the province partner with our border services to at ports of entry from the United States to make sure that boats that were entering Canada would be inspected and properly disinfected if necessary. So that was, I was pleased that was approved. There had been other things about it, but they were not as detailed as this. And I think this is, to the best of our knowledge as council, is the way that we feel some impact could be had on any possible importation of these mussels. Second thing I want to talk about is a breakout session that I went to, which was about downtown revitalization, and it was a case study really of Penticton and what they have done, and it was really quite exciting, and especially some of the things that they did. For example, it was a 15-month process, rather rapid, and that is underway. The actual results of that are underway as we speak, because Martin Street, a couple blocks of the downtown, are sort of under construction, and the results I think are going to be quite impressive. So it was a 15-month project, very intensive in terms of its involvement of the residents. A lot of public engagement, and they basically were trying to get at three things. First of all was to find out what the residents felt was great about their downtown. So this is focused on the downtown core. Secondly, what was missing there. And then thirdly, what their vision was. And they used some very, very exciting things to do this. They had all sorts of different gatherings of people at various days and various times of the day, and they emphasized that the important thing was they always had food there. So they were treating them very well. They used the market, their farmers market, to consult with people, and they had them drawing their vision, and they also had an artist there who could illustrate what the people were saying was their vision for the downtown. They had events such as a scavenger hunt, which helped people to realize the ease of use of the city, or the use of transportation. So they would have to find different things and so on. So they were really using various ways to impact the need or the absence of things on the population. They had something called Penticton by Night, and they had free food and drinks, and it was basically to help people get a picture and a feeling for the city in the evening, and where things were located and what was there and what wasn't. They had a design charrette similar to what we had, except theirs lasted for 5 days, if you can imagine. And they had 55 people present at that, including, or not counting the design team. They did what they called a use of the downtown, and they took all the parks out, and then they categorized all the buildings and the vacant spaces, and they found out that 45% of their downtown was either vacant lots or parking lots. Can you imagine that? Almost half the city was that way. So they realized that they had no problem with building in the downtown. It's just that they had to get what they wanted. They also realized that 20% of their population is living downtown. So what they decided to do was to, you may have read about some of this because it's been going on, I guess they finished it last summer, in terms of the planning. They used zoning and incentives to say these are going to be development zones, and we want, for example, they wanted a grocery store, and so they were prepared to give all sorts of city incentives to the first person who built a grocery store downtown. They wanted, there was talk that the movie theater was going to move out, so they had a zone there, and they had incentives to get the movie theater to relocate and to build a new theater. And interestingly enough, they said if they had used the parking requirements that were on the books, they would have had to have 300 parking spaces for that theater. Well, they have 35. So what they did was they became very, very flexible and very inventive about the use of their zonings and things that would attract groups to put up things and not to turn the whole downtown into a parking lot. So that was really quite exciting, and I'm going to share this with our development services staff, but you heard it first here. So that was really good. So that was really wonderful. It was a wonderful opportunity. And of course, hearing the mayor of Calgary speak, Naheed Nashi, was just a thrill. What an incredible man! And he was, of course, talking about really how you manage crises and how you have to sort of always be open to being quite inventive. He told us one little story about shortly after this terrible flood happened, that the staff were saying, well, what are we going to do? We need volunteers and so on. So they decided late at night that they were going to ask people to come at 9 o'clock the next morning, give them about 24-hour notice. And he said, well, nobody will come. And they said, well, that's kind of what we wanted, because we just don't know what to do and how to manage them. So he said he got up that morning and he went down to the Saddle Dome, I think, was where they had told people to come, and there were about 3,000 people who showed up, and so they were they ran out of forms asking people for all their information and so that they could use it to assign them. And finally, he said he just took the loudspeaker and he said, "Look, you know the city, you know your neighborhoods. Go out and help one another." And it was just incredible, the kinds of cooperation that people got. So he was certainly inspirational. And so it was a wonderful, wonderful time. I'm glad I was able to go. Thanks to the people of Osoyoos for letting me go and for sending me there. And I hope that as I share this with some of our staff and so on, we'll be able to incorporate some of these things into our own activities and procedures.
Thanks, Councillor Ryan. Bringing us to the mayor's report, I'll keep it fairly short, although I certainly ended up doing a lot of things that I enjoy doing. As a follow-up to Councillor Plant, the Oyster, that Oyster 2-day 3 event was absolutely spectacular. Good feedback there. On the events that I went, I was very impressed because I only knew about a third of the people there. So to me, that means 2/3 I didn't know, 2/3 were from out of town. That's really the audience that we're after, and I think it's really building. That was year 3. There was a lot of Vancouver media there. Fred Lee, who does that 2-page fold-out in the Vancouver province on Sundays, he had a nice little blurb in there on it. And really, this is just going to be the announcement that Osoyoos is open for spring business from now on and forever. So that's really positive. On Sunday, I did an event that I really enjoy doing. I went to the MS Walk in Penticton. I've been doing that for as long as I've been on council, I believe. And that was, again, very successful. The rain always parts for a little bit to get through that. And you'd all remember Corver Mullen from Bylaw and his wife Gloria. She collected $12,250 for the walk. And that was a part of the hot dog sales and things like that they do. But that was a substantial amount of money coming from Gloria Vermeulen. So congratulations, Gloria. So then on the way home, the South Okanagan Owl Rehab Center was having their one-day open house. They had some good funding and some good stories. And again, it was the Burrowing Owl Winery that stepped in with a substantial cash donation. And I don't quite understand it from the news articles I've read, but they managed to get a piece of land finally in their name. They've always been sort of, didn't have their own site and they were using someone else's property. And you know how time goes on, sometimes sooner or later that need becomes where the person that owns the property needs it. So they actually have their own deeded site now, and they had their building put up, and the Conservatory Trust ran into a little bit of financial difficulties. So this was all a major bailout. Anyway, the Lieutenant Governor, Her Honor Judith Guichon, was there doing the opening for it and that. So that was pretty neat. Then so I did the MS walk. Then go into Oliver for about 1 o'clock and do the hospice walk. So so went on another walk there, and that was a very good event and a fundraiser, and got to renew my membership and things like that. So that's a great society, and I know they had a presentation today up at the golf course and one at Oliver tonight. If anyone really wanted to pick up some information on hospice and what it means and the society and that, it is at 7 o'clock tonight in Oliver at Medici's, which is right across the street from the Oliver Post Office. So anybody that wanted to go 7 o'clock, the speaker there, hour and a half, will be very good. I think that's it. I'll entertain a motion to adjourn. Councillor Ryan McCordoff, good afternoon, folks, and here in Osoyoos at 10 after 4, you can enjoy a sunny afternoon. Thank you. Goodbye.